Good morning, good
Daniela
afternoon.
is member of the European Parliament. She is member of the Committee on Employment and Social Affairs, as well as a substitute member of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, and of the Committee of the Environment, Public Health, and Food Safety. Wow, that is impressive. Let's hear your remarks on this important topic. The floor is yours, Daniela.
Thank you very much, distinguished Director Bukuru, Honorable Vice Minister Emanuela Del Rey, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished speakers and participants. I'm honored to attend to this conference, and I would like to thank also President Saporito for the invitation. The fight against poverty and social inequalities is at the heart of my political engagement in the European Parliament, and I'm convinced that a deeper involvement of the European Union can play a crucial role to face altogether the current and future global challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic is accelerating the ongoing process of digital transition, both in a positive but also in a negative way. As the Inforpoverty program demonstrates, digitalization could be an extraordinary instrument to bring opportunity and well-being. In Europe, it's estimated that 1/3 of the companies and the workplaces will overcome the pandemic crisis thanks to the digital transitions. Nevertheless, people in regions excluded from the main digital infrastructures are quickly leaning towards social and economic exclusion. It's estimated that 1/4 of the European citizens are poor or are plunging into a condition of in-work poverty. This means that our challenge cannot be limited to the simple access to digital tools. Because digitalization is a revolution that will completely transform our society, we have the responsibility to plan all together something new and more ambitious, enhancing the Sustainable Development Goals in order to manage this complex and, let me say, also potentially chaotic phenomenon. I consider that there are three main digital goals that we should achieve altogether. The first one should be the recognition of the right of internet access to all as the cornerstone of a new, fair and equal digital society based on freedom, opportunities and well-being. This means that the online access must be free, solid and fast everywhere and for everybody. The second goal should be an educational strategy based on the right to digital literacy for all. In the past decades, the United Nations, national governments, and NGOs undertook global campaigns with the aim of teaching reading and writing to every person. Now it's necessary to update them with inclusion of the necessary digital skills. The Internet and the World Wide Web are neutral tools, and each person should be able to use them in a proper and conscious way in order to get all potential advantages and avoiding any possible risk. So each person of our society should be involved and no one excluded. The third goal consists in involving all decision makers, stakeholders, intellectuals, scientists in order to define a digital law for the new digital society. This aspect should be considered as a long-term process to be included in a renovated and genuine multilateral approach, in which the new digital rights could become fundamental and regulated by the international and national laws. In particular, some ethical aspects of artificial intelligence, for instance, should be faced as soon as possible in order to avoid a further escalation of the current situation. It's fundamental to establish a global governance of digitalization in order to make the digital services available in a citizen-friendly way without creating new technology barriers and breaking down those that still exist. The digital society must be inclusive, accessible to all without any discrimination or any form of social, economic, geographical, technological, and cultural differences. I would like to draw your attention on the fact that the objective is not only how to digitalize the society, but also how to keep human our society. For this reason, we should establish clear limits to the digitalization, I think. I'm referring to some important decisions that we are discussing at the European level nowadays concerning the data protection, the right to be forgotten, and the right to disconnect. Concerning this last issue, it's crucial to defend workers from the culture of constantly being on call. This unregulated situation, based on a new form of exploitation, is affecting both the physical and mental health of people. And it's generating a new category of invisible workers, usually called smart workers, who are mainly the ones who work for digital platforms. These workers are generally underpaid and deprived of any labor rights as far as fair working conditions and decent wages. If we are able to prevent these negative aspects of the digital revolution, it will be much easier to implement important projects such as EWA Belt in a structured and permanent political strategy in order to digitalize all services of general interest with the positive outcome of driving our societies and economies into the digital transitions. I think the digital goals should be connected with all the SDGs, particularly under the environmental point of view. I'm convinced that we cannot eradicate poverty or inequalities if we don't achieve a new and sustainable equilibrium with the planet and its resources. In this sense, the process of digitalization could be a crucial tool to ensure an efficient use of water, soil, and food, along with a more responsible way of living, consuming, and eating. To conclude, I hope that starting from today, we could establish a more structured cooperation. I give you my full availability to bring at the European level this experience of the Inforpoverty program in order to create a more effective dialogue with European institutions in the common interest to achieve a fair and equal digital society for all. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much, distinguished Director Bukuro.